You know, it's easy to think that to sound smart or to get a big idea across, you need big, complicated words. But what if that's not true at all? What if the real power is hiding in plain sight, in the simplest words we use every day? That's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
Okay, just look at this number for a second. 850. Let that sink in. Now, what could that possibly have to do with the entire English language? It seems kind of random, right? Well, that number actually brings us to a huge question. It's the core of an idea called basic English. And the concept is this. There's a list of just 850 words, and with those words alone, you can explain pretty much anything.
I know, it sounds completely nuts, right? How could that even work?
So, how on earth can 850 words do all that heavy lifting? Well, the secret isn't in the number of words, but in how incredibly flexible they are. And to really get our heads around this, we're going to pick just one of those 850 words and put it under the microscope. We're going to see just how much it can really do.
All right, so the word we're going to follow on this little journey is root. Seems pretty simple, right? A basic, everyday word. But trust me, as you're about to see, this one little word is absolutely packed with meaning.
And yeah, just so you know, we're not making this up. You can see right here from the Simple English Wiktionary that root is, in fact, officially on that 850-word list. That's what makes it the perfect guinea pig for us to really see what a core word can do. Okay, so before we start unpacking all its meanings, let's just listen to it for a second. Root. It's just a simple, solid sound, isn't it? Root. Now let's find out what that one simple sound is capable of building.
All right, so think of a word like it's a tool, you know? It can have a few different jobs. The first job we're going to look at for root is when it's a noun. And a noun is just a fancy way of saying it's a thing, a person, a place, or an idea. Now, this is probably the first thing that pops into your head, right? The literal, physical part of a plant or a tree that's down there in the dirt, holding the whole thing up.
In this example sentence just paints that picture perfectly, doesn't it? You can almost see it. The big, strong roots anchoring that tree in the ground. Super simple, super clear.
Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. That one single physical idea, the anchor of a plant, starts to stretch. It becomes the beginning of something, like the root of a problem, or a feeling of belonging, like your family roots, or even the base of another word. It's all the same core idea of a foundation, an origin, just used in different ways.
Now this is a powerful example. Hatred is the root of all evil. Suddenly, root isn't something you can dig up from the ground. It's the fundamental source, the very start of a huge, complicated idea. And this is where you really start to see the hidden power we were talking about.
Okay, so we've seen root as a thing. Let's switch gears. What happens when it stops being a thing and starts doing something? What happens when root becomes an action word, a verb?
Well, as you'd probably guess, the most direct meaning of the verb is literally the action of what a root does. It's that process of growing down, of establishing itself, of taking hold.
This sentence gives us that perfect visual. You can just picture those pesky dandelions sending down their roots, getting comfortable, and making themselves at home in the flower bed. It's a clear action.
And just like we saw with the noun, this action starts to stretch into other ideas. You can be rooted to the spot by fear. A belief can be rooted in tradition. But then, and check this out, you add one tiny little word, out, and the meaning does a complete 180. It flips from planting something to ripping it up completely.
And this example just nails that idea. When you root out the troublemakers, you're not planting them, you're getting rid of them from the very source. You're pulling them up completely, just like you'd pull up a weed. It's amazing, right? The same core word used for the exact opposite action.
So let's just break it down. On one side, you have the noun, the thing. It can be the part of a plant, or it can be the source of a problem. Then on the other side, you have the verb, the action. It can mean to grow, like a plant, or it can mean to remove a problem entirely. All of that from one simple word.
Okay, let's zoom back out. We just went deep on one word, root. So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all really tell us?
This right here, this is the secret sauce of that 850-word list. The magic isn't just having the words, it's that every single one of them is a powerhouse, just like root. They're these incredibly flexible building blocks that can be a thing or an action, and you can stick them together to create almost any idea you can think of.
And that's why this whole idea is so important. It shows that being a great communicator isn't about having a giant vocabulary. It's about really, truly understanding the power of the core words. They're the foundation.
the roots of everything we want to say.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. We just saw how much work the word root can do, from something in your garden to the cause of all evil. It makes you think, doesn't it? What's the most powerful, flexible, simple word you know